This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us for this Thursday, September 9th. I'm Mark Martin. Today, the Biden administration planning to sue the state of Texas over its new abortion law. 200 Americans finally getting out of Afghanistan, and could that country become the heart of revival in the Middle East? As the 20th anniversary of 9/11 approaches, is America safer today? And it's a nation devoted to biblical principles and protecting persecuted Christians. What country is this? We'll have that story and more today on NewsWatch. We begin with the Biden administration planning to sue Texas over its new law that would effectively ban most abortions. But media reports discussing the potential lawsuit said it wasn't clear on what grounds the government would sue. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki made it clear Wednesday the administration planned to move against the law.
Clearly, this law this bill that was signed into law is something we strongly oppose, and there's an urgency to looking for and announcing actions to help women now.
But legal experts warn that although the Texas law may possibly be eventually found unconstitutional, fighting it in court could be an uphill legal battle. The Taliban will let 200 Americans and other foreign nationals fly out of Afghanistan today. They will be the first international flight since President Biden pulled U.S. forces out of the country. That move comes as the Taliban has announced its new government, which includes several men who have been designated as terrorists. While Afghanistan is in turmoil, could the war-torn country become the heart of revival in the Middle East? One ministry predicts that it may after working with the underground church there. As Caitlin Burke reports, even with the Taliban's efforts to squelch the message, Afghan Christians continue to live and spread the gospel.
As the new Taliban government tightens its grip on Afghanistan, people can plainly see the darkness of Islam spreading, and they're running toward the light.
As Job says, in the book of Job, he says, when a man is in a heap, on the ground, he stretches out his hand to God. And so it's in the midst of the desperation that souls are hungry. And so it's a moment of opportunity.
Joel Richardson with Global Catalytic Ministries says history proves that oppressive Islamic governance leads to revival in the church.
Iran has the fastest growing church in the world. 7 years after the ISIS blitzkrieg, there's a revival in northern Syria. The establishment of Islamic government provides ripe soil for the church to grow.
The church in Afghanistan is determined to do the same.
They're still actively meeting, studying the scriptures together, worshiping, and sharing the gospel. We actually have a report of one of our leaders who has been sharing the gospel with Taliban members that came into their village, and they've actually been engaging in Bible studies and prayer.
While it's often the sensational reports that make headlines, like a recent one that falsely claimed the underground church there had been martyred, or others that spotlight heroic action, Richardson says Afghanistan's Christians are just real people choosing to live out their Christian faith.
They say they're scared. Many of them are in despair, but it's in that weakness that they're still pushing forward, and they're finding sweetness in all of it.
One Afghan Christian recently reporting back to Global Catalytic Ministries, quote, "There is pain and joy right now. God hasn't left. There is no need to fear what the Taliban is doing. Yes, bad things may happen to us, but God will do something and glorify his name." Richardson worries this could be the calm before the storm, but he says Christians there have submitted themselves to the will of God, come what may.
They've given their future, their fate over to the Lord, knowing that it could result in martyrdom. They understand that very, very clearly, but yet they're pushing forward regardless.
The biggest prayer request right now is for divine protection. One Christian writing that they continue to remember the passage where Jesus' enemies are after him and he passes through a crowd and disappears. Divine camouflage. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
Here at home, President Biden is set to address the country today, laying out a 6-point plan to fight COVID. The plan will reportedly include requiring more vaccinations, testing measures, and trying to make it safer for kids to go to school. Hospitals are currently treating more than 100,000 COVID patients, most of them unvaccinated. Democrats are battling among themselves as they take up President Biden's budget, disagreeing over how much to spend. That debate coming as extended unemployment benefits are ending. About 7 million people are affected by losing those benefits. But many small businesses argued they couldn't get workers back because they couldn't compete with free money. Pandemic-related benefits for unemployed workers over the past 18 months include aid to self-employed and gig workers, benefits for those who have been unemployed for more than 6 months, and a federal $300 weekly supplemental unemployment check. Congress passed the much-needed aid after the country's unprecedented COVID shutdown last year, a move that killed jobs and threw the brakes on a strong economy. Single mother April Stokes, who hasn't worked full-time since last year, says the extra money kept her family afloat, citing affordable childcare as a major hurdle.
4 job interviews this week. Getting a job's never been an issue. It's what do I do with the kids when they get off at school at 4 until 7 o'clock when I get home from work.
Economist and former Trump economic advisor Steve Moore says the policies kept some from taking jobs.
Half of small businesses in America cannot get their workers back on the job. Enhanced food stamp benefits, increased payments to people for not working are making it very difficult for small businesses and medium-sized businesses, construction firms, restaurants, manufacturing firms, all throughout the country are just having a very difficult time getting people back on the job.
Moore pointed out just how generous the policies have been.
Families of 4 with no one working could get benefits of $70,000 to $100,000 and not work a single hour. So yes, these programs are deterring people from going back to work. And by the way, that's bad for our small businesses.
Businesses like Davis Professional in Chesapeake, Virginia.
It's hard to compete with free money right now.
Owner Jerry Flug even rolled up his sleeves to help.
It's all hands on deck. Over the past couple of weeks, we've jumped in the truck, cleaning carpets, stripping and waxing floors, whatever is needed to be done.
According to the Labor Department, there are still 5.7 million fewer jobs than before the pandemic. Still, for those willing and able to work, some 10 million jobs are open.
Factory jobs are open, trucking jobs are open, business services jobs are open. And by the way, those are not poor paying jobs. These are not, for the most part, minimum wage jobs. Many of them pay, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year to start. So it is good news. We're finally suspending these extra unemployment benefits.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration has encouraged states to use COVID relief money to keep the unemployment programs going, but none plan to do so. Mark Martin, CBN News. Coming up, this Saturday marks the 20th anniversary of the deadly terrorist attacks of 9/11. So what was the long-term effects of those strikes on America? And are we safe from another major terrorist assault? We'll hear what former Republican Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann has to say when we come back.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
I think as a father, it's my job, to lead, just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
"20 years have now passed since 9/11. How did that tragic event in 2001 change American society? Is the USA now safer, better protected from another similar act of terror? On this week's episode of The Global Lane, former Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann explains why she believes America is less safe.
At the epicenter of our economic forces and also at our military forces. And what was the response from the United States Congress? To pass bill after bill after bill. We were told that it was for protecting the American people, but really what it's done, it's invaded the privacy of American businesses, of American individuals, all to set up giant databases that are controlled by the federal government. And so what we've seen since 9/11, 2001, is big tech marrying up with big government, and that's come at the expense of privacy for the average American citizen.
And perhaps cyber warfare poses a greater threat to the United States. Earlier this year, we saw cyber attacks against oil and gas and meat supplies, most recently at Howard University, of all places. So how prepared are we to tackle that growing threat?
I would say we are not, unfortunately. This has been ongoing. The chief offender of cyber warfare is China, without a shadow of a doubt. I served on the Intelligence Committee, and there was a long study that was done, and it was clear China is the chief offender. They steal from corporate espionage. They steal from the federal government. They steal from private individuals. It isn't just that, though, Gary, that we are living through bio-warfare as well. That bio-warfare, in all likelihood, is from China also, that they are behind the Wuhan virus. And so if that is the case, look what they have done to bring down not only the United States of America, but the world. If you look at the collapse in Afghanistan, you ask yourself, who benefited from this collapse? If you look at the expanse of the virus here in America and across the world with COVID, who benefits? The conclusion, again, points to China. So China is not a good actor. But I think this is very sobering, but something that we need to understand, Gary, and it's this. I believe that the United States of America, as much as I don't want to say this, I believe that we have lost our superpower status on the global stage. Yes, we have military superiority, but we remember, again, Joe Biden lost a war that won by people that are riding around on pickup trucks with AR-15s.
And finally, today, Regent University is holding a virtual broadcast, 9/11, a 20-year retrospective. Tell us a bit about it, and how can people watch it?
We're featuring an interview that I will be doing with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, with the man who is the police commissioner of New York City on September 11th, 2001. That's Bernie Kerik. I also interviewed Attorney General John Ashcroft, who is U.S. Attorney General on the day of September 11th, and the Secretary of the Navy, Admiral Vern Clark, as well as many others, including Rabbi Jonathan Cahn, who wrote the best-selling book, The Harbinger. I think the viewership will be extremely grateful that they watch this, but then to go back to regent.edu/911, regent.edu/911 for absolute must-see TV for a retrospective of September 11th, 2001 until today with the collapse of Afghanistan. It is the hottest topic and the hottest issue out there.
A significant event and some hard hitters there. Okay, Michelle Bachmann, former member of Congress, Dean of Regent University's Robertson School of Government. Thank you for sharing your time and your insights.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it.
For an in-depth look at trends in the news, watch The Global Lane tonight at 8:30 Eastern on the CBN News Channel or the CBN News app. Well, still ahead, it's a country devoted to biblical principles, helping persecuted Christians around the world and fighting cancel culture. What nation are we talking about? And why is it facing scrutiny from the European Union? We'll bring you the answers right after this.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discover the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com to get your copy today.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Introducing a brand new way to start your morning. Get your daily quick start from CBN News. A quick read on the important news of the day delivered right to your inbox. Stay current on breaking news, politics, and entertainment. Discover how God is moving around the world and here at home. Plus, get exclusive stories and daily scripture encouragement just for you. Stay informed. Go to quickstart.news and subscribe today.
Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. A nation devoted to biblical principles, advocating for persecuted Christians worldwide, and standing up to cancel culture. What country is this? It's not the United States. It's the Eastern European nation of Hungary. So why is the EU targeting its government? Jennifer Wishon explains.
The European nation of Hungary is helping Christians in a way unlike any other country.
Tell us why Hungary is so interested in advocating and protecting persecuted Christians around the world.
Hungary is a Christian nation.
To hear Secretary Tristan Azbej talk about Hungary's national dedication to biblical principles is, in today's world, a jaw-dropping experience.
We are trying to implement the social teachings of the Christian faith and the Bible in our policies. And part of that is the protection of human dignity, human freedom, but also part of that is the protection of the sanctity of family and marriage.
His position in the Hungarian government exists for one purpose: to help persecuted Christians around the world through a program called Hungary Helps.
Christians are the most persecuted religious group in the world. There are 340 million people who are discriminated or threatened or suffering genocidal attacks because of their faith in Christ.
In 4 years, Hungary has supported 250,000 persecuted Christians, helped reconstruct 67 churches in Lebanon, and completely rebuilt the Christian town of Tel Aviv in Iraq after it was decimated by ISIS.
900 buildings were damaged. The church there was used for target practice by the jihadists.
Of the 1,300 Christian families who fled, 1,000 have returned and now refer to their village as the Daughter of Hungary. Hungary's approach is simple. Asbey and his team travel to where Christians are hurting and ask to help. Their reception is universal.
They are truly shocked in the good sense that there is someone in the world who is actually caring about their faith.
In the last few months, he's visited 7 countries on 4 continents. I caught up with Asbey in Washington at the International Religious Freedom Summit, where in the future he hopes more governments follow Hungary's lead to aid the persecuted.
What we want to achieve, that next to the town that is called now Daughter of Hungary, I wish that there was a son of the US.
Increasingly, Hungary faces scrutiny over its traditional values from the European Union and LGBT activists. Tensions flared this summer when Hungary's parliament, the National Assembly, passed a law to protect children from exposure to inappropriate sexual content, including homosexual content, and to preserve the rights of parents to retain sole control over their children's sexual education. The executive branch of the European Union launched legal action over the law, saying it discriminates against LGBT people. Hungary has failed to explain why the exposure of children to LGBTIQ content as such would be detrimental to their well-being or not in line with the best interest of the child, the EU explains, giving Hungary 2 months to respond.
We are seeing a very strong lobby in the European Union to push gender ideology through the European Union directives and the legislation. And that's such a strong initiative and lobbying power that eventually it will be mandatory to be implemented in the member states of the European Union. So we have made this measure to protect our whole legal system from that lobby and from that intention, which is completely alien and foreign from the values of the Hungarian people.
His nation's constitution, adopted in 2011, is consistent with Christian teachings.
We have confirmed in our constitution that the marriage is between one man and a woman, that life has to be protected from conception.
And recently the nation amended it to confirm a mother is a woman and a father is a man.
This seems to be a strange thing that it is needed to be put in a constitution.
Beyond the politics, Asbey says through his extraordinary job, he's received so much more than he's given.
I have been meeting with true heroes of faith in the persecuted Christian communities, and I have gained such a great strength from their testimonies, from their faith, even despite all the threats and the humiliation they're facing, that also it was a true faith experience for me. So it's really not us Western Christians who are supporting the persecuted brothers and sisters in the Middle East and in Africa. They are supporting us. They have a message to keep our identity, to keep our faith in Christ.
It's a message Hungary's taking to heart as Asbey shows the love of Jesus to the nation's Christian brothers and sisters suffering around the world.
In our department, we never had any motivational problems because all my colleagues are fully understanding the importance of this mission.
Data shows some 340 million Christians are being discriminated, facing threats, or suffering genocidal attacks because of their faith in Jesus, and could use some help from Hungary, along with the rest of the world. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Pray for Hungary. Well, coming up, the Jerusalem prayer team gets its Facebook page restored after being taken down in May. We're going to tell you what happened when we come back. Stay with NewsWatch.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
On the home front.
Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
Wednesday at 3 on the CBN News Channel. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet. Download the CBN News app, 24/7 news from a Christian perspective at home or on the road. One place for all of your news. Breaking news alerts. Set daily prayer goals and pray for news stories. Read the most important news and watch CBN News Channel live. CBN News, because truth matters. Go to CBNNewsApp.com to get the app today. Channel. Your shows. The stories you care about. Anytime you want. Anywhere you want. Download the CBN News app today.
Thanks for staying with Newswatch. Facebook has reinstated the Jerusalem Prayer Team page after shutting it down when Israel fought an 11-day war with Gaza. Team founder Mike Evans says radical Islamic organizations hit the page with 2 million anti-Semitic posts in 72 hours back in May, leading to its removal. Evans called it a very clever, deceptive plan by Islamic radicals. The Jerusalem Prayer Team appealed to Facebook to restore their page, and now it's back. Evans says their goal is to build Israel's brand and make friends of Zion by educating millennials and fighting anti-Semitism. The team was established by Evans in 2002 and has more than 75 million followers. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel anytime or online with CBNNews.com. Also, tell us what you think about the stories you've seen by emailing newswatch@cbn.com. Or be sure to talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day.